Chase Brown going to the moon as his team talks about him being the focal point, as people talk about being the focal point of this offense in 2025. What a steal Chase Brown's going to be as he was last year. Chase Brown, according to his OC, Dan Pitcher, Chase Brown will be one of the focal points of the Bengals offense in 2025. And this guy is a steal in round 3. Do I love him in round 2? I'm not even going to go there right now because I get a lot of questions about, Smitty, why don't you draft Chase Brown instead of Bucky? I like Chase Brown better than Achane. You don't need to go there. Take advantage of the 3rd round value that's sitting right in front of you. He's in the 3rd round. He's fine there. I love him at the top of 4. That's not going to happen anymore. We have to accept that Chase Brown's going in 3 and he's doing it live. And we're here for it and he's going to cook.
Let him cook.
So Chase Brown's winning leagues from round number 3. Really winning leagues from round number 4, but we'll talk more about that. Terry McLaurin is every avenue of this potential situations on the table, requesting a trade, holding in, holding out. All of it will be talked about here on the other side of the intro, so hang tight on that. Rashi Rice, we'll talk about Rashi Rice, and maybe there's not even a suspension. People aren't talking about this. There's still a chance I'm not saying it's great, but there's still a chance he doesn't even get suspended. But might it be a 2 to 4 game suspension? We'll talk about that. And then Najee Himes getting signed by the Chargers might be a sign that maybe Najee's eye injury is actually more of an issue. So we'll talk about this and more. We've got other news. The Washington Commanders, President Trump wants them to change to the Redskins. We'll have more conversation about that. So much more to talk about. The Fantasy Football Show, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern show, every single Monday through Friday. That show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
What has Brown done for you?
They laughed when we said he was about to be an unstoppable force for all to see. With Chase Brown, get up, get down with Chase Brown.
Chase Brown's going to the moon. I mean, Chase Brown is literally a top 10 running back disguised in 3rd and sometimes 4th round value. If you could get him in 4, you're really smashing it. You're really smashing the value. As far as what to expect out of his 2025 fantasy football campaign, let's go to Chase Brown's game log from 2020, or his career stats from 2025 or 2024. Put them on screen and then discuss what we think could be bumped around or massaged around. Because quite honestly, his numbers are hard to project. It really is. And then you have the team kind of sometimes suggesting they want to lessen his workload. Then you hear a piece of news like this and it just cements in that what we're getting is going to be more of the same of how he played at the, I don't want to say end of the year, really from a little bit before the middle of the season on. It took a handful of games for Chase Brown to really get on his horse. And we did this whole Chase Brown, you remember the deal, you remember the thing. And we were just elated by the idea of this guy getting early work, and he didn't get it. And I started to panic and worry about the fact that for weeks 1, 2, 3, he was getting, 3 carries, 4 carries, 7 carries. And then in week number 4, everything that we had talked about started to come into play. So really it was week 4 on where this guy started to get insane workload, insane volume, 229 carries, 4.3 a pop, which I think he can improve upon. So even if we give, let's say, Chase Brown 255 carries, which I think is a very acceptable increase, and you give him I'm going to say 4.4 yards per carry. So 4.4 yards per carry, 4.4 times 255 gives you 1122. That is a very, very nice number. And the rushing touchdowns, he had 7 last year. I'm going to give him 8 TDs on the ground. And then reception-wise, I don't think we have to even bump this if you want to play it safe and just say 55 for 370 and 3 to 4 TDs. So realistically, he could have more yards to the tune of going from 990 to 1122. Let's say it's 4 touchdowns, same amount of receiving touchdowns, 1 extra rushing touchdown, and that's still a glorious season. That is probably, I would say, if he played all, the entire season, maybe even just missed 1 game, left a game with a hamstring, came back the next game, something along the lines of missing 0 to 1 games. This kind of feels like, I don't want to say his ultimate floor, like his cellar dweller floor, but this is like bare bones expectation. Could he do way more than this? Could he catch 65 balls for 450 and 6 touchdowns? Certainly possible. But this is an unbelievable year from a player trapped inside round 3. Disguised as a 3rd round player, really borderline 1st, 2nd overall, 12, 13 turn pick value is what he can deliver upon. His floor in round 3 is something you can bank on pretty much every time if you see it. The only thing about round 3 is there's so many other players we also love right there. Kyron. So it's kind of a rotation of sorts. But Chase Brown getting this number is not going to be difficult. Repeating what he did here, but getting this number is also going to be very well in the realm of possibility, even at a I would say a disappointing season type of production. As for Terry McLaurin back in the news again today. This one right here shouldn't surprise anybody. Kind of more of the same. According to Fox Sports, Terry McLaurin will explore every option, including a holdout, a hold-in, and a trade request, while seeking a contract extension from the Commanders. The Commanders have to smarten up here because, look, he deserves to get paid. I think the guaranteed money is the sticking point. You got to pay this guy. I don't know what the exact numbers are. There could be a situation where we come back after hearing some sort of update that McLaurin's wanting 35 million times like 3 years, and then he wants 75 of it guaranteed, which he can't get. He's 30 years old. Paying him even $34 million a year might sound like a lot per year, but it's not about the per year. It's about the guaranteed money, because you could pay someone $60 million per year on a deal where you're guaranteeing them only the 60 million, and that would be a whole different ballgame. The guaranteed money is what matters. If they're offering him something along the lines of 50 mil guaranteed, and then he is getting 34 million a year, in his mind, 1 year, and they could, let him go and he only gets this difference, he might not like that. But he's got to accept that he's 30 years old, and getting that Garrett Wilson contract, which was $90 million guaranteed, no chance that that's happening. And it might be his agent that's feeding him a bunch of hogwash on how he's going to get some sort of Garrett Wilson-like deal. We kind of need to reserve a little judgment on the Commanders. I think the way they've handled the offseason and the PR behind this situation has been awful. I don't blame that on all Adam Peters. He doesn't run the social media accounts. But someone's got to get a grip over there in Washington, because they're doing stupid things like posting things about players and leaving McLaurin off. Posting all the weddings that happened in the offseason and leaving McLaurin's wedding off. Just doing some real stupid stuff that makes this more frustrating for Terry McLaurin, who's kind of hovering and not sure what direction to go, and you give him a reason. You give him a reason to get upset and want to go in this direction. He's got to understand he's 30 years old. So this is two sides completely far apart. Both of them might be a little bit out of pocket here. The Commanders got to pay him per year. You may say, Terry, look, you want $35 million per year? Fine. We'll give you $35 million per year. But guess what? How much of it's guaranteed? How much will be guaranteed? We're going to give you $55 million guaranteed. That means this doesn't really matter. You're getting that out of respect, but we're not guaranteeing you even 2 full years of that. We're not going to give you $70 million guaranteed, $75 million guaranteed, $78 million guaranteed. They're not doing it. They'll give you 55. Maybe they even give him something along the lines of 60 million guaranteed, but it's still not going to be times 2 of his yearly annual contract or price tag. So this is the number. This is all that matters. Who cares about this number? This is what matters. He needs to wet his beak. I know how he feels. He's upset that he's been sitting there fermenting on the roster for years and years, turns 30 years old, and finally gets JD5. Finally gets to do what he's supposed to do, but we can't control that. The Commanders can't control that. But the two sides need to figure it out. Do I think he gets traded? No. The report yesterday suggested, coming from ESPN, I believe it was Jeremy Fowler, ESPN confirming that reaching out to the Commanders, they had no interest in trading Terry McLaurin. Could it change? It could. These things can get volatile. The two components involved in a trade are that there is some sort of divide between player and team. And when the player and team are not in a good position, that is one component. Number one, you need both. You also need an offer that the team can't refuse. Because if it's a player that is amazing, a player that's going to help this team win a Super Bowl or make a Super Bowl run, regardless of what your goggles, your big, thick Niner goggles, your big, thick Eagle goggles, your big, thick Cowboy goggles, or Chief goggles, whatever goggles you think you're wearing right now that are, you think they're this thin, but they're this thick. You think the Commanders can't win the Super Bowl. You're out of your mind. This is a team that certainly could win a Super Bowl or have a Super Bowl run in 2025, but it's going to probably take Scary Terry to get it done. And so this offer has to be an offer that they can't refuse, on top of the severed relationship between player and team. Now, we're not here yet. We haven't seen this yet, so we have no idea if an offer is in play. So we'll just cover this up like that. There's no idea. We have no clue if there's an offer in play. Maybe they have, kicked the tires on something. We're not here yet. If we get here, then this will come, because then the team will be open-minded. But you need both components for a trade that is sending a player away that doesn't need to be or shouldn't be traded. That's it. That's it. And you're not gonna hear any more until we have an update on. The problem I have is that hearing that the Commanders and McLaurin haven't talked for weeks and weeks, that is unacceptable. Now, maybe the team said this is our final answer. What good is it there to talk when the agent's being a total douche about it? We don't know if he is or isn't. But my guess is that Terry's agent is handling this in a way that the Commanders are like, look, we don't have a problem with Terry. We have a problem with the way this is being presented and what we're being told through agent. We don't know. We have no clue how this is gonna end up going. Russian collusion with the $20 hauler in the building right now. Russian, appreciate you dropping the wad, my boy. Russian says this, Smitty, you look to be doing great. Thank you, Russian. Appreciate you. We haven't seen you in a while. So glad to see your face. I have not been focused on football. Need to put more time in. What's your thoughts on Chubb this year? Not feeling like Chubb is a big factor. However, if you own Mixon, definitely cuff it. You've got the nice young rookie Woody Marks is there as well, but the offensive line's in shambles in Houston, so I'm kind of staying away from Nick Chubb. But as a late grab, I don't hate it. It just depends on how deep the league is. Give me Brashard Smith. Give me Jaden Blue. Give me a player like Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt versus a situation like that. But appreciate you. And then in the super chat, what's your prediction on Hubbard this year? Chuba Hubbard, probably more the same of last year. We're talking about a 1,100-yard running back, 6 to 7 touchdowns on the ground, 45 receptions are certainly possible for Chuba. He could get more, he could get less. I think he's a tough player to trust long-term for whatever reason, because he's been in the league a while. I think he's undervalued to an extreme degree, but I love him in redraft. I'm not so sure. I'm sitting on his value versus selling him high and trying to get a Harvey, trying to get a Hendy, trying to get a Hampton, trying to get even a Travis Hunter going across position. So certainly a player that I think that you should be shopping in Dynasty because you can, and somebody you shouldn't be scared to pull the trigger on in redraft because he is a solid player from a year-to-year basis. Thank you so much for the super chat, my boy. More on McLaurin. We'll talk about that in a second. 264 of you in the building. I feel like football's back. I feel like just looking at the live chat, looking at the discussion, super chats, I feel like the incoming gifted memberships and the flow, it feels like today's day one. I feel like there's a lot of people in the building that weren't here all off season, and they're flowing in on this Monday, on this July 21, as we're inching closer to August, and I'm feeling the vibe. I'm feeling the vibe. I'm feeling the vibe. And then we've got Rashi Rice conversation. I know a lot of people are going to say, Smitty, this doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Smitty? Rashee Rice is for sure going to get a suspension. And I agree that it's very, very, very much more likely. And who dropped it? Who dropped the gifted memberships, by the way? 20 from 20 from Russian collusion. 20 from Russian collusion.
$50. Give me $50 holler. Get better, brothers.
And then we got someone else dropping some memberships here. Andy dropped 20 gifted membership. Andy, 20 gifted memberships.
$50.
Mashed potatoes!
Russian and Andy going to the moon. Russian and Andy. Doing it live. Doing it live, my boys. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Russian Collusion. Thank you, dropping those super chats. And then BBQ says, I'm sorry, I need to be involved too.
$50. Give me $50 holler.
Mashed potatoes!
That's another 20 memberships from BBQ. I think we opened up a new emoji. It takes like a night for it to actually occur. And then we have some unrenewals or some that drop off. And then sometimes it like washes some of the gain. But YouTube will open up emojis as we hit certain thresholds. That certainly put us over the next one. I checked last night. We needed like, I think 40 of them, the gifted memberships. So we went over, but we'll have some leakage. And then we'll see if we can add another emoji. Who do you guys want to be the next emoji? Do we even have a Chase Brown emoji right now? Because I think we ran out of room. Maybe it will be Chase Brown. As for Rashi Rice, let me just tell you guys this right now. As much as everybody's going to have this initial reaction of, Smitty, this guy's really saying that Rashi Rice is not going to get suspended. I'm not saying he won't. I'm saying that there's still a chance, a 10% chance even, that the league won't suspend him for his first-time offense on 2 third-degree misdemeanors. The letter of the law on third-degree misdemeanors is not necessarily a suspension when you're a first-time offender. So there is a world where this, commissioner's favorite team that gets special treatment is going to get, overlooked in this regard. Hard to say, but I think we be safe. Expect a 2 to 4 game suspension for Rice. I think if you plan for one right in the middle, like a 3-game suspension, you're probably safest for a 3-game suspension. So 3 games is what I would expect. But at the same time, I am very, very much drafting the hell out of his newfound ADP. And Rice is going in a territory that's kind of like I would say a morph between third and top of round 5 territory. And I find myself sitting there in the 4th round every time I'm on the clock. And I say to myself, the 4th round for Rashi Rice sounds very baked in as far as the risk is concerned. It seems like a very, very good bargain, in my opinion, at least. And someone might disagree. That's fine. To me, it's baked in. You can disagree all you want. I think at the end of the day, you're buying a player in round 4 as your 4th drafted player that could miss 2 to 3 games that you could supplement and insert someone in. Maybe some total you lose 15, 22, 21, 20 total points out of the ordeal, but you're still getting him at a price that if for any reason the league doesn't suspend him, you're winning a league on 4th round value. And if they do suspend him 2 to 3 games, you're getting him at the exact perfect place to get him in the 4th round. And the 5th round's league winning. The 5th round's league winning. Andy Reid addressed Rashee Rice's situation. He said he's a full participant in training camp. They'll just await the NFL's word. There is word from Schefter that the team's expecting a 2 to 4 game, but again, we'll find out. I don't think he's getting anything close to a 6 game, 5 game, 4. It is going to be between 2 and 4 if it happens. It could be even 1 to 2 games because he has no, prior history. And the Addison situation, for those that don't know, is a DUI situation, so it's completely different. And he's not a first-time offender, so he's going to get completely blasted. Wayne says, why are you sleeping on Xavier Worthy? How could we be sleeping on Xavier Worthy? Xavier Worthy, we talked up almost more than anybody, Wayne. So you're sleeping on the value that we have on Xavier Worthy. We still love Xavier Worthy. Worthy's going in the same territory and is absolutely league winning potential. So I don't know what you're even talking about, Wayne. I think, Wayne, you might have hit your head or something. But that's all right. We still accept you. You are who you are. And for that, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you, Wayne. Okay. Let me go ahead and hit this other news. This is a piece of news that might concern some people. You might have a little bit of a problem here on our hands. Let me see if I can. We still have the sound. Okay. This Nyheim Hines, is pretty much a signal to me that this team might be in some trouble in terms of the Najee Harris eye patch pirate situation. This team signing Hines at all at this state of things, like unless this is a camp body, which I don't anticipate that's what they're looking at this as. This is a player that comes in coming off injuries, doesn't concern me, by the way. I'm not worried about him holding Hampton back. I'm not worried about a guy coming off an ACL and I believe LCL injury, just a bad knee injury that kept him out for multiple seasons. But this is a guy that is a player that scares me zero, but it's a concern and a signal that Hampton's season might be in full effect. The fact that this guy's being brought in right now, the timing is fishy. Everything being reported on has been fishy with Najee. I told you from the jump when they said he'll be fine for week 1. Why are they talking about week 1? Why is he visiting with Stanford doctors? So Hines is a signal that Najee is probably going to be far behind maybe by the time they get to potentially week 1. Now, maybe Najee is fine in 1 day, 2 days. It's possible. But no matter what I hear, I'm not believing what I hear moving forward on this situation. I'm just not. And I think that this, again, tells me Hampton's season is in full effect. Now, hopefully, Hines being signed worries people because they look at this situation and they say, this is now crowded. This is more crowded than before. Hines catches footballs. This isn't good, Smitty. You've got Najee already threatening goal line work. You got Hines now threatening PPR work. And while there maybe is a small risk in this because Harbaugh's involved, and he is kind of a wild decision maker and hard to predict as a coach and a person. He's a wild man. He's absolutely out of his mind sometimes. I don't know if you guys saw the meme today. It was crazy. The fact that this guy's a head coach sometimes is absolutely wild to me. Here's this footage of him at practice. Look at this real quickly. Look at him staring through these tarps. It is a concerning. This is a concern. This is going to be one of the biggest memes ever used in the history of the NFL. Is this meme of Harbaugh peeking through the tarps while he's watching Herbert drop back to pass? This is concerning. This looks like it'd be on a episode of. I don't want to say it, but there's a guy. Yeah, I'm not going to say it. It's wild. It's wild. Look at this. This is wild. What's he doing there? This is the decision maker. This is the guy he's out there. He's in the outer space. So who knows what he decides to do. But at the end of the day, I'm going to trust the talent. Hines doesn't concern me at all. Hampton's going straight to Saturn.
To Saturn.
Is he a Mars man?
He's on a shuttle to Mars.
Yeah, Mars man. He's going to Mars, but he might go straight to Saturn, to be frank. And while everybody freaks out about the now more crowded room, don't let it. Let's just hope this affects the ADP value of Hampton. I really, really hope it does. The president says that, this report, this is coming from Schefter and all over the place. Everybody's seen it by now. But President Donald Trump is threatening to hold up the new stadium deal for Washington's NFL team if it does not restore its old name to the Redskins that is considered offensive to Native Americans. This has been a hot topic, and it's even more hot because of where it's coming from and derived from. This is news. For anybody about to say, don't get politics involved, football and politics don't deserve to be together. This is about football. Relax, understand. You're the one. Anybody that says don't get politics involved is the one getting political right now, because this is news. I'm reporting the news as it's happening, and this is being talked about a team, and their stadium is in question right here. So if you can't handle this being brought up as from a news perspective, you're the one that's getting political, and I don't think you realize that. And now you're like, wait, that is me. It's me. I'm the one getting political. You're the one getting political. Okay. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with this. I don't think this actually ends up, being a situation where they have to change their name in order to get their stadium. But look, a lot of people want this team to go back to the Redskins. The Commanders' name is growing on me. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of a cool name at the end of the day. There were some other names that I did not like, but this name's kind of growing on me. If it stays, I'm completely content with it. I didn't like it at first. The football team was really ridiculous. That was probably one of the dumbest names ever. Commanders is pretty solid. But yeah, I mean, if you love the history behind this, then yeah, I don't know. I personally think it's going to be fun to watch this unfold, because I don't know about you, but I enjoy some of the controversy involved in this stuff, and we'll see what happens. Gadsden is a nice option right now, especially with the retirement of Mike Williams. But this report here, The Athletic's talking about how the Chargers believe that Gadsden can be an impact player in the passing game. Of course, this is a good prospect. This is a very good tight end, emerging tight end that could be a top 5 tight end from the draft class. Don't anoint him the second or third tight end yet. Just keep him on that lower, territory of breakouts, guys that you eventually think could be top 10, 12 tight ends in the league, but you're never going to draft him that high. He's certainly got the range of outcomes that could be bust or one of the top 10 tight ends of the future, but you have to make sure you're just picking him up off waivers. You're throwing him into trades. This guy too, same thing. Just opening up the tight end room. This is the new tight end 1 in Seattle. So Fant being sent packing is a fantastic thing for this guy's value. Not to mention, a very important note here is that he's coming up with Jalen Milroe. And so Milroe and Arroyo, when they've shown clips of Arroyo looking good in practice, he's getting the ball thrown to him by Jalen Milroe. So Arroyo Milroe is going to be a nice connection moving forward. Get ready for it. It's going to be a solid thing to watch unfold. Very talented kid. Him and Gadsden both have potential to be as good, if not better, than Loveland in the right scenario and context. So Milroe rises up, Arroyo gets injected, and this is a Laporta and Kincaid. Michael Mayer, Kincaid, and Laporta ends up being the best tight end of the group. It could be that situation. Everybody's assuming it's Loveland. Loveland's trapped in a bad situation. So Arroyo and Gadsden have that quiet Sam Laporta rookie season potential, or at least sophomore season potential. And I love the fact that Milroe is going to be the one to potentially rise up with Arroyo. It's a very important point people need to keep in mind. Will Levis is out for the year, which just makes it a lot easier for Cam Ward. Not to suggest that Levis was going to threaten him at any level, but it's just more of a guarantee that we're going to see this guy, Cam Ward, just explode. Just absolutely explode. There's a lot of people that say this guy's got a great arm. He's a talent. 100%. Ziggy, show me the front door. We got somebody ringing the doorbell right now. Ziggy, show me the front door. It's probably Harbaugh. He's probably sitting at my front door like this. What do we got here, bro? What are you doing? Are you delivering groceries? You selling Girl Scout cookies? What's going on? Russian collusion with another $20 hauler, as there's some guy at the front door of Casa de Smitty. I had a guy at the door. You never open your door in the middle of the night. I had a guy in the middle of the night with his shoes in his hand, and it was this ploy to get you to open the door. And, because you're wondering why there are shoes in his hand. Smitty, I have missed so much as of today. Who is your number one QB, number one running back, number one wide receiver, number one tight end? Number one quarterback, JD5, but Josh Allen and JD5 are really close. Number one running back is Bijan. Bijan and Gibbs are really close. Wide receiver, I'm going to say it's a tie between Chase and Lamb for me. I love JJ, but I need to see more out of JJ McCarthy. So I'm going to go Lamb and Jamar Chase, but very, very much love both of them. What's this guy doing? If you're delivering groceries, bro, just set them down and go. Russian collusion, $20 hauler. Appreciate you.
Alert. Super chat alert.
All right. Thank you, Russian collusion. Russian collusion to the mother freaking moon. I think we got more super chats to boot, so we'll get through those. Then we'll open up phone lines. That's everything for right now. President Trump wants the Commanders to change to the Redskins, or he's potentially going to hold off the deal. Nyheim Hines being signed by the Chargers. What's it mean? It seems to be a signal that Najee's in some trouble. And again, Najee is visiting with Stanford doctors. Stanford doctors about his eye. This is not going to your primary care physician. Hey, can I talk to Dr. Pete? Yeah, he's my primary care physician. You take HMO? This is calling up the Stanford doctors. The Stanford doctors. And this is something that has been kind of a crazy unraveling situation that who knows what's going on. Terry McLaurin, will he hold out? Will he hold in? Will he request a trade? Chase Brown to the mother freaking moon. His OC saying that he's going to be the near focal point of this offense. And Rashi Rice, we're awaiting all the news on Rashi Rice. Rashi Rice going to the moon. And he's going to be a full participant in camp. His knee's 100%. That's part of what this is saying. And also, don't be surprised if the suspension is underwhelming to those expecting big suspension news. That's all I'm going to tell you on that front. Super chats galore. Phone lines I'll open in a second. If anybody's trying to call, I haven't opened it yet. Let's go over to the super chats real quickly. Let's get these out of the way. Trade my JMO for Coleman in a 25 first rounder. Yes or no? This is a tough call because I need to kind of know where the first rounder is. If it's a late first rounder, I probably lean toward JMO if you can win now. Okay, but I love the first rounder if it's potentially early. If it's potentially early, I might take it. But I think it's a very, very close call. If you could win now, JMO should have a nice season, although I think he's very overdrafted. What's your prediction on Hubbard for the year? I think I already addressed this one. I think it's very, very likely. Let's ask Kruger what the stat line was for Chuba Hubbard. Kruger, what were the stats for Chuba Hubbard in 2024?
In the 2024 season, Chuba Hubbard played 15 games for the Panthers. He rushed for 1,195 yards and 10 touchdowns, and he also had 43 catches, 171 yards, and 1 receiving touchdown.
Okay. A pretty solid season, Krug. Thank you. So, yeah, like I said, 1,100 yards, 6 to 7 to 8 touchdowns. I think you dial those down a little bit. 43 catches, I think I said right around 40 for let's call it I think he gets more like 250 and then maybe 1 TD. So I think he's under 10 total, probably 7, 8, 9 total touchdowns, 1,100 yards, 40 receptions, 200 something receiving. And then I think I sell him in Dynasty just because he feels like a player that has a peak value that is time to take advantage of it. Go get that Hampton, especially off the Nyheim Hines situation. I might go ahead and take care of that. BBQ says Commanders should show Terry his scary Week 17 stats: 1 catch for 5 yards, total dud in championship game, erased by A.J. Terrell. It's possible the Commanders are looking at other potential options. I'll say this, and I've said this before, if they do end up going the route of trading Scary Terry, because of what I said, it has to be a divide between the team and player. And if that happens, if this is present, there's a divide, then it needs to be an offer that they can't refuse. So if this does get ugly and they say, we're standing on business, we're not going to give you this deal, Scary Terry. So that if this becomes in play and that's, we trigger this into effect, then if somebody comes along and gives this, and Adam Peters loves draft picks, if someone overpays him and gives him like a second rounder or something at 30 years of age, the alternative, if let's say Scary Terry was traded for a second rounder, the button was pressed, and then Adam Peters got abducted by aliens, and then the phone rings. Hello? Hello? Yes, this is Margaret. We'd like to hire Smitty as our GM. Our acting GM while Adam Peters is on a hiatus. Can you come on down? Sure, I'll be right over. I walk into the room and they say, Smitty, we got bad news. Before he got abducted, he was acting kind of funny. He traded away Terry McLaurin for a second-round pick. It's done. It's done. It's over. Fix this situation. I would say, I can do this. I can take care of this. He's gone. Terry's gone. I'm going to go get Keenan Allen, and I'm going to do that 100%. Do it live. I'm going to go get Amari Cooper. I'll go get both of these guys. Now, I'm not saying that Deebo Samuel owners want to know this, but this is what I'd do. I would at least go get Keenan Allen, but I'd maybe go get both of them. You add these guys to Deebo Samuel, this is one of the most underrated situations really in the NFL that people would be, I think, scrambling to figure out and digest. Thank you, BBQ. BBQ to the mother freaking moon. BBQ, thank you for everything. Let's give you a Mars shot.
To Mars.
What a monster. Him and New Age, and then Andy lately, and all the other people dropping these gifted memberships. The gifted memberships, guys, if you got one, please thank whoever gave you one. Or if you don't know, then at least put a thank you out. We had Andy dropping 20. We had Russian Collusion dropping 20. We had BBQ and BBQ. Glenn says, how can I qualify for a gifted membership? Make sure you go in and accept it, bro. You may have not accepted that you can have gifted memberships. You do it in your account profile, I guess. Somebody explained to him how you do it. But thank you, Russian Collusion, coming in strong. Russian Collusion coming in strong with a recovery of not being here and just dropping loads right away. Feel like Chuba just entered his prime, 26 years old, first 1K season last year. I don't know about prime at 26. Ziggy, volume 10. Ziggy, how old is Chuba Hubbard?
Chuba Hubbard is 26 years old and was born June 11th, 1990.
Okay. Ziggy off. Is that correct? Because it's showing a picture of somebody that does not look like Chuba Hubbard. Let me just get it. I'm trying to get his birthday. Chuba Hubbard. Let's see. He is 26. July, June 11th. Okay, so that is correct. June 11th. I'm selling him. I understand, Sam, where you're at, but I would be selling him. I think he's a great player. He's been in the league a little bit now, entering 27 next year and then 28. I agree. He could have potentially 26, 27, 28, 3 good years, but I just feel like I like to capitalize on that value in case something goes awry. If he gets hurt, I feel like this team, everything's going to be contingent upon his next contract. What's his contract look like right now? Chuba Hubbard contract. Let's pull this bad boy up and put it on screen. Chuba Hubbard is looking at let's see here. Unrestricted free agent 2029. The team has a potential out in 2026. If something happened, they could potentially get out of this thing in 2026. So this offseason. So let's say he suffered some sort of catastrophic knee injury. Now, you can't play scared, but there is a chance this man never gets another big contract. So you're banking on him being healthy this year, and then he'll probably want more money next year if he balls out, even though he's under contract through 2028, really. But I don't know. I would sell high, but you're not crazy to want to keep him. Please don't sell him if he's your favorite player. Trust your gut, my boy. Trust your gut. Trade my JMO. I already answered that one. That was a tough call. I think it depends on that first rounder. I don't know what you said on that. We got 324 of you in the building. Please hit that thumb up button if you're new and subscribe. And we only have 102 thumbs up, which is a good number, but I think we can pump those rookie numbers up. We got Russian Collusion with another. He said he's back. Rocking the Smitty. Appreciate you, Russian. And rank London, Wilson, BTJ, AJ Brown, St. Brown. Rank London, Wilson, BTJ, AJ Brown, St. Brown. I'm going to rank this from a redraft perspective and say, give me, this is going to sound crazy to a lot of people, but give me London, give me BTJ. I'll put St. Brown and AJ Brown ahead of Garrett Wilson from a rankings and value perspective, but at cost of entry because Garrett Wilson goes another round or even more later. At the end of the day, in the vacuum, my rankings really London, BTJ, Garrett Wilson, and then St. Brown, AJ Brown. I think AJ Brown's injury risk to me is a little bit higher than St. Brown's, but they both have injury risk. You got regression in Detroit with Ben Johnson being gone, losing 2/5 of the offensive line, having defensive injuries as well now. This is a tough year for the Lions. I think they get by, but it's one of those things that I'm concerned, right? I just think that cost of entry conversation needs to be had when we start talking about Garrett Wilson above those, for context. But London and BTJ almost tier break because of those reasons. And Daniel, appreciate you. Your show has helped me keep my mind off of a tough divorce, and I just want to say thank you for all you do. The show and community is amazing. Do it live. Daniel, let me give you a piece of advice. Daniel, bring it in real quick, Daniel. Bring it in real quick. Bring it in. Daniel, go cook. Cook.
Let him cook.
Got this. Daniel, live your life, baby. This is Daniel. I want you to understand something. This is 2.0, Daniel. You had life before, and now you have a new life after. They're two separate lives. You either live in the past, Daniel, no matter how it ended. You either live in the past and you merge those two worlds. This is the best advice I could give any of you going through this. If you merge the two lives, that's on you, Daniel. You'll have only yourself to blame at the end of the day. But now, right now, going through something tough like that, even if it's your fault, both your faults, doesn't matter. You have two lives now, before and after. Don't merge them together. Live the one after to the best of your ability. Make it your best life no matter what. Do it live, Daniel. Do it live. Do it live. Where's my music? Where's my music?
Where's your mashed potatoes?
All right, there we go. I don't know where my music went. It's like my music just went off. Okay, this one, if we get 100 likes, more memberships coming. If we get 100 likes, well, we have 100 likes now. So let's reset this to 150. If we get 150, maybe he already dropped that. But if we hit 150, 200, or maybe he already dropped that off that 100. Thank you, BBQ. Okay, your show. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate you. I think I'm done with the super chats for right now. Super chats will be answered in order in which they're received. Let's go ahead and take some phone calls. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Do it live. Daniel, I'm telling you, make sure you look at it that way. Never forget that you heard that. I'm telling you, this is the key to your success. You have two lives. Don't merge them. Go live your best second life. Phone line is wide open. Dial in. Looks like we got one phone call from a guy named, well, we got one phone call already, and then that phone caller hung up. Huff, thank you. Appreciate you. What a show already. What a show already. It's we're only, 44 minutes into it. Doing it live. I feel like I feel like some of you never left. 325 in the building. Subscribe, hit that thumb up button on the way in the door. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. This is your only channel. We go live whenever big news breaks. We go live also midnight Eastern every single midnight, pretty much every single midnight, but we're live whenever big news breaks, live at midnight, and we're live at 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. So we're kind of live more frequently at midnight than any other time, you could say, because it's nearly every night. But Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. rivals that, and then live whenever big news breaks. Sometimes we go live 3 times on breaking news before the 8 p.m. show even occurs, and then we go live at midnight. That's how crazy this channel is. So if you think you have time to watch other channels while you're keeping up with this one, you might want to think twice about that, because you're not going to have time. There are people that tell me, Smitty, I consume so much content, but I can't even keep up with just your show at all. We got phone callers here. Let's go to Michael from San Diego first. If my other callers could stay muted real quick. Michael from San Diego, you're first. Go ahead. Oh, you know what? I need to fix something real quickly. Hold on. Let me see. The audio is now good. Okay, Michael from San Diego, I should be able to hear you. You're live.
Yeah. What's going
What's
on,
up?
Smitty?
What's up, my boy?
Hey, how we doing? So I wanted to ask a question about the Rashi Rice situation. Let's say worst case scenario, he gets 4 games. What are we projecting Xavier worthy to do the first month of football?
First month of football, boy. I mean, he was the wide receiver 2. If you take his last 5 played games, which is kind of a unique way to do it, because there were 3 playoff games that we're talking about. And then there was did not play week 18. And then you have his week 17 and week 18. I think I'm remembering this correctly. I potentially could be off, but I don't think I am. So you had 5 games.
Right.
5 games he was wide receiver 2. And one of those games, the first playoff game, I believe, he didn't even do anything. So I'm not even like cherry picking. You take his 3 playoff games, one of which he had like 50 yards or 60 yards, and that was it or something. You take those 5 games, he was wide receiver 2. Like if you take that data, divide it by 5, and then extrapolate it over 17 games. A weird way to look at it, but I'm just trying to without cherry picking, give you his last 5 played games. I could tell you during the regular season, his last 5 games. Wouldn't you rather know what his momentum is? His last exact 5 played games, he was wide receiver 2 in the National Football League. So when people say things like Worthy isn't consistent or whatever, I don't care about those people. Those people can go kick rocks. I really don't care.
They don't know ball.
Wide receiver 2 in his last 5 played games. Now, I will say this. I think Hollywood's there for a reason. Jalen Royals is there for a reason. Kelsey's, dropped some LBs. Worthy will be that go route guy. He's going to have some of that disappointing, doesn't connect on a long, 2 long targets that could have both been touchdowns, and he walks away with 4 for 35. And you're like, son of a B. No touchdowns now. But he's also the player that can get you, I believe, at least 2 to 3 times this year, he's going to have multiple touchdown games. So he's a best ball monster, and I love him. I would say that he probably does something along the lines of 65 to 70 yards per game, 4 to 5 receptions per game, 1 to 2 rushing attempts, maybe more than that, 1 to 2 rushing attempts, maybe 1 to 3. And I think he gets you at least 1 rushing TD and at least 1 to 2 receiving TDs over a 4-game period with about 65 yards a game, let's call it. So that's we're talking about maybe getting you 2 TDs on his floor on 4 games, maybe getting you 3 TDs on his ceiling, maybe getting you 70 yards a game, maybe getting you 65 yards a game, maybe getting you 1 to 3. It's hard to say. All I know is that when Rice comes back, though, and this is worst case scenario, there's a world where he does not get suspended. Nobody's talking about it because I don't know. They can't imagine it for whatever reason, but it's still a possibility.
Well, that's best case scenario for Rice owners.
Even if it's a 10% chance he doesn't get any suspension and he gets massively fined, and the league's like, this is your first warning, but you're not going to be lenient with you in the future. Who knows what they're going to do? This is the golden team, not the golden boy, but the golden team for the commissioner and the league. Who knows? And people will be up in arms if he gets no suspension or 1 game and Addison gets 6 games. People are going to be like, it's so unfair. The Chiefs, I can see it now. The Chiefs. When it's a DUI, multiple offender, Addison, and no alcohol, and you could say he was hiding it, he ran. You can't prove any of that, though. You can't do it off spec, so it is what it is. The facts are on the table. He has 2 third-degree misdemeanors with no record, and he could 100% be given a 1 or 2 game suspension. I would say I still like Rice over Worthy in many ways. If it was a 1v1, of course, Worthy could potentially outscore him. But because you're plugging in a supplemental player the weeks that he's out, you're not missing the points and getting zeros. So it's a hard thing to argue. I think if they both go in the 4th round, I would rather have Rashee Rice by a hair. And I know that people don't want to hear that are Worthy owners, but that doesn't mean I hate Worthy. Like the guy in the chat, Wayne or whatever the hell his name is, Smitty, you don't like Worthy. Why aren't you? I love Worthy, but just because I think we just had Rice as a top 5 wide receiver until we were told he might miss 2 to 4 games. Why are we changing our tune on that? I'm not. I don't know who else is. You give me a supplemental player for the 2 games he's out, let's say, and I miss a sum total of 15 total points, let's say, in a worst case scenario over 2 games. I'm still going to score top 5 wide receiver numbers from that point on. Not to mention, if I still win those games, it's irrelevant that he missed any time at all. And in best ball, especially if you're doing you're trying to make the playoffs and get into the first round, it's irrelevant if he misses as long as you advance. It's irrelevant entirely, unless you play in a total point league. Then it's different. Then we start, if you're doing a potential, what's the contest on Underdog where you play a total points week 16, somebody help me out with what it's called. Like that one, that's one place where Rice is different for me. Maybe, not even that much. Not the Eliminator, whatever it's called on Underdog. By the way, Underdog promo code Smitty. Link is getting dropped in the live chat as we speak. If you want to draft with us tonight, Underdog will match your first deposit 50%. Marathon, thank you. 50% on your first deposit, all the way up to $1,000. All right. Michael, one more question. You can call back with another one, but real quickly, then I got to roll around the phone line.
Yeah, no, you actually went further. I was going to ask you how you think Rashi Rice fits into that scenario. I personally think Worthy would get used the same way he would use down the stretch with no Rashi Rice. I mean, they were using him everywhere. So I think that continues. And also, people are forgetting Rashi Rice is coming off an injury. So if he gets suspended, let's say 2 or 3 games, who cares? We get extra 2-3 weeks of rest, recovery, and he's ready to go for the season. So that's all, man.
The other thing, yeah, no problem. The other thing I'd say before I hang up on you here is Mahomes played like number 10 QB material last year. Mahomes is going to throw for, in my opinion, 4,500 plus yards, and bare minimum, like I'm disappointed as hell, 35 plus TDs versus like 40 plus TDs. So this right here accommodates all of what you want, what I want, what you predict, what I predict. If he was not going to increase back to these numbers, then yeah, one might not survive. But these numbers make it so both of Worthy and Rice per start are top 10 wide receivers, and people can either deal with it or not deal with it. I don't care. Accept it, don't accept it, run away from it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. All I know is Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams with Aaron Rodgers ended up being both top 10 wide receivers. Travis made that point many, many, many weeks ago. Well, you telling me Mahomes and the Chiefs offense, which is going to revert back to throwing downfield? Reed's already said it. And he's a chameleon. He's always morphing. Everybody thinks
hamstrings ready.
He cemented it. He's now not a passing type of coach. Oh, yeah? What about when he was all about running and turning guys into Priest Holmes-like players and Larry Johnson-like players, Kareem Hunt-like players, and then all of a sudden Mahomes, Tyreek Hill. This guy is he's fluid. He's liquid. He's loose. He stays liquid and loose like we do when it comes to fantasy football. And Reed knows what he's dealing with. And he's got Rashard Smith, one of the better pass-catching running backs in the draft class, now as his potential prospect of running back one, probably from like midseason on, I imagine. And that guy catches footballs. Mahomes is going to the moon. Get ready. All right, see you later, Michael. Call back if you got another one.
Yep, he's done. Yep.
All right, let me go to the next caller. This is Elgin, and then the 443 after that. Elgin, you're live.
Hey, what's up, Smitty? How you doing? Quick question. Out of these three receivers, pick two. Zay Flowers, Jameson Wilson, and Xavier Worthy.
Jameson Williams? Did you say Jameson?
Yeah, Jameson Wilson. Yeah, Zay Flowers and Worthy.
Okay.
Which two you would pick?
I mean, the fact that you're even asking Worthy with both of these makes me feel like you don't like Worthy a lot. I easily take Worthy here. J-Mo and Worthy without hesitation. I like Zay Flowers, bro, but he plays for the Ravens. The Ravens do not produce top 20 wide receivers. They just don't. Lamar's, I don't think Lamar, I forget what Zay was last year. I think he might have been like 25. I forget. Someone want to look up in their scoring format where Zay Flowers finished. I think it's the highest of wide receivers ever finished for Lamar. Lamar has never produced a top 25 or higher top 20 or higher wide receiver in fantasy football. I believe ever. Someone look up Zay. I like Zay. I like him, but he is handcuffed. This is the easiest call I've been asked probably this week, or one of them. There's been pretty easy ones. And I'm not even, I think people are overdrafting J-Mo a little bit, but that's still a smash for me. All right, bro.
Hey, okay. I was about to say, I think J-Mo going to kill, though, man. I like him, though. I'm willing to go to say he had more receiving yards than St. Brown, though.
And I was right on the money, 25. He finished 25 on the button. So now we can't say that. We can't say that Lamar's never produced a top 25 wide receiver. We now got to change it to Lamar's never produced a top 24 wide receiver. But I mean, it's still a very late number for a guy that was the number one quarterback practically in the league last year, and his number one wide receiver was 25. I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I got you. Okay, thank you.
All right, later, bro. 443, you're live.
Hey, what's up, Smitty? How you doing?
What's up, my guy?
This is Nick from Baltimore. I got a question for weekly winners format.
Okay.
So we have, I need a tight end. I'm in the 8th round. I'm looking at Kelsey, Andrews, and Ingram.
Kelsey.
And quarterback.
Okay.
My quarterback is hurt. So.
The Ingram choice is the right choice because he has the most upside. If you have Mahomes, you know what I've been doing, bro? A lot of the time when I'm on the clock, I've got Mahomes, I've got Rice, let's say, in a best ball. Underdog Fantasy will draft tonight. Make sure you hit that link. I'll drop the link one more time in the live chat. If you want to draft with us, you have to hit this link and do it live, bro. You got to, if you want to get in to a draft tonight, hit the link now and sign up so you're not too late. This is the way I look at this situation, my guy. I get to the point where I have Mahomes and Rice, and then I see Bo Nix. And I take Nix ahead of Ingram. Nix might already be gone, but I take Nix and then I take Ingram. And I've got Rice and Mahomes. I've got Nix and Ingram. I've got a nice little cross stack going on. The bottom line is this is the better wide receiver, or better, well, he's a wide receiver, he's a slot wide receiver trapped in a tight end label. This is the better player. Ingram is going to be, in my opinion, top 5-6 in that Joker role in Denver, playing amazing football with a quarterback that's completely on the rise. I like Kelsey, but he is getting older. They might even snap share him a little bit, kind of pitch count him. And so this is, and if you got Andrews, let's say you get likely, I do like that in best ball to have the combo, but give me Ingram because at the end of the day in the vacuum, this is the guy I believe has top 5 tight end potential. These guys are a little bit lesser likely to be top 5 tight ends. I think Kelsey could linger in that 5 to 7 to 5 to 8 range for sure because of touchdowns, but this guy could have that explosion year where he's tight end 3 and you won a league because of it. Go Evan Ingram.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Also, I have one more thing about Igbuka. Can you tell me how highly you rate him in a rebuilder's dynasty case, like compared to like guys like Harvey or Hendy or even Cam Ward?
Cam Ward in a super flex?
Yeah, Superflex, obviously Cam Ward's like really good, but like
you got to take
it's like very diluted.
Yeah, but you got to take Cam Ward in a super flex over Igbuka. You have to. Genti, I could take over Cam Ward, but I'm taking Cam Ward probably second. It's a tremendous opportunity to trade or build that QB room, or trade what you have and put Cam Ward in that QB2 spot, whatever the case may be. Igbuka though over Hendy and Harvey and Hampton, I don't have him that high, and I have him higher than almost anyone you'll find. But I have him over Ted McMillan. I have him as the second wide receiver after Hunter by far and away. But Hunter, Harvey, Hendy, Hampton are in their own tier and bucket together. That's why we have the HH
In a jam.
H-
All HHH
Associates.
Triple H and Associates. Locations on Earth and Jupiter.
Doesn't mean Igbuka, like this, there's really nobody that's been pumping him up like we have. So I love the guy. He's a top 12 to 14 potential future wide receiver, but I would take advantage of those RB values probably. But if, let's say, I didn't need an RB, I could see myself also trading back to get Igbuka and get something else of substantial value, because I want to take Igbuka and I don't want to take him above those players that have a little bit more value. But he definitely has lesser value because the average person is drafting Ted McMillan over him, bro. So taking him where you're taking Hendy, Harvey, Hampton, and Hunter is just out of pocket. I'm not saying you don't grab your guy, everybody's famous phrase of justifying a horrible reach is grab your guy to a degree, but take advantage of the trade down values and all that. So if you're going to Igbuka, get him after Ted McMillan and those RBs are slotted and projected. That way you get something, massive in a trade. But I love him. I think he's a top 12 to 14 wide receiver of the future. He's such a monster. Morphs into whatever they need him to be wherever he's at. He played in a better wide receiver room in college than his Tampa Bay room, which says a lot. I mean, he's done nothing but play in the most competitive of spaces. He played last year with probably thought to be the best wide receiver to ever come out of college, Jeremiah Smith, when he comes out of college. And this guy's constantly in a crowded wide receiver room. He knows how to navigate it, and Baker's the guy to throw him the ball. All right, bro.
Cool, man. Thank you.
All right, later. All right, phone line is open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
We've got this super chat here from Aaron. Thank you. Appreciate your super chat. This one is out of guys you don't like to draft: Tyreek, CMC, Ayuk, Henry, Barkley, etc. All of them who are the top two you worry you might be wrong about. Who are the top two? Who are the top two? Okay. That I might be wrong about, that are gonna actually. I mean, I'm not saying I don't draft Henry, so I don't know that it's fair to throw Henry in this mix, because I do draft Henry, but I think he is somebody that I tend to avoid over a guy like Bucky. But that's kind of where I think this goes. So to say that he's a guy I don't like, I think is unfair to throw him in this. So I'm not going to include Henry in here. Or I'm just, because I don't want to, I like Henry. Barkley is definitely somebody that I wouldn't say I wouldn't draft. I just won't draft at his value. But Barkley's the one player that, I would fear that he would be able to produce top 1 or 2 overall running back value. And I'm sitting here saying, I think you got to draft him outside the top 4 or 5 running backs to protect yourself for missed games, etc. So he has the most potential because we haven't seen drop off. Tyreek Hill, Ayuk's nothing. Tyreek Hill, I mean, he looks super quick right now in everything he's doing, but why is he always running around, doing track meets, racing kids, playing in camps and playing like what would be considered a full game every weekend? putting wear and tear on his body. The likelihood of a midseason injury for Tyreek is super high. But could both these guys be top three at their position if lightning struck in both cases? Sure. But injury is very, very likely for both of these guys at cost of entry, and I find myself wanting Garrett Wilson over Tyreek, MHJ over Tyreek, running back like Kyron, quarterback like JD5, Josh Allen. All those players are available where Tyreek is. So I'm not even scared to be wrong, Aaron, because at the end of the day, and I'm not yelling at you, I'm yelling at the question. At the end of the day, even if I'm wrong, I'm getting a player that scores as good or better than Tyreek anyway, and we both win. The Tyreek Hill believer, and then me doubting him, I still win. Because I'm taking a Kyron, I'm taking a JD5, I'm taking a Hampton even over Tyreek. I am. And even if I'm wrong on Barkley, this is still an offense that lost the offensive coordinator. This is still an offense that there's some concern about. You know, the mileage was crazy. He slowed down in the Super Bowl. It's hard to really know how rejuvenated he'll get. I'm sure he will. He didn't show signs of breaking down during the year, though. But could he fall off a cliff in the middle of the year or do the Mixon thing, play amazing for 10 weeks, and everybody goes, Smitty, you didn't draft Barkley in the top 3. Feel like a stupid man right now? No, I'm not going to feel stupid even through week 8, week 9, week 10, because I drafted Bucky, I drafted Achane, I drafted Genty, and I think those guys can hang with Barkley, might even score more touchdowns than Barkley, and even if I'm wrong on Barkley at the end of the year, my Genty versus Barkley might be even anyway. When I'm wrong, there's still a very strong chance I'm not even wrong. We're just both right. The believer and then me, the doubter, is how I'd answer that question. But Barkley and Tyreek, but Henry is going to be great for a start. You could throw Henry in that exact same conversation, though. If I'm taking a Genty or a Bucky over him, then yeah, you know, there's a world where he does outscore Genty or Bucky, and then I say I regret not taking Henry high enough. But I don't think Henry's considered a total bust for me. Whereas you go to like the Planet Uranus board right here.
And off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.
Planet Uranus has Hill, Cook, McCaffrey, Mixon. Barkley and Henry aren't on it because I think they're amazing per start. But, you know, it's definitely a conversation to be had and a good question to boot. Phone lines are in. Do it live.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Thanks for writing it down. It definitely makes it make more sense. You are welcome. Appreciate you for coming by. There you go. There you go. Respectfully, what's the beef with Hill? Respectfully, what makes you think there's a beef at all? I mean, he's older. He vanished last year. He's tied to Tua Tagovailoa. I don't think that there's sort of any descriptive beef here. This is just logic. Ziggy, how old is Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek Hill is 31 years old and was born on March 1st, 1990.
Bro, Tyreek Hill's 31 years old.
SI.com.
31 years old. Ziggy off. Ziggy, shut up. Ziggy off. He's 31 years old. What's the beef? Why is he on the no-fly list? I just told you. You need to rewatch the rest of the show. I don't think you're understanding what we're throwing down. There's no beef here. This is logic. He is a no-go player. Yes, that's not a beef. That's being logical. He's a Planet Uranus player because he's a very big risk.
And off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.
Travis, you're live.
Hey, how's it going?
What do you hear? What do you say?
In regards to Chase Brown, for redraft, I've seen some people in the chat saying how he actually is going second round, and I can see him be sneaking into the second round because, you know, in best ball, he goes third, but people overdraft wide receivers in best ball. So how do you feel about that if he does creep into the second? I know before you had said you weren't going to answer it, but
yeah,
if that changes anything.
Yeah, the reason I would say I'm not, I'll answer it. I'll just say that the reason I'm hesitant to speak about Chase Brown's ceiling territory of my liking is because then people start drafting him there right away. So with the caution of don't do this until you have to, use ADP, people will say I like Chase Brown over Achane. And I have to push back on that, not because it can't happen, but they're nowhere near each other's ADP. Even in the scenarios you paint out, you're talking about, this is round 2. You're talking about Achane going at this top part and Chase Brown going at this like turn section where we're going in. This is round 2. This is round 3. And let me move Chase Brown's noggin out of the way. You're talking about this being round 3 that we're entering right here. And so once Chase Brown is in this like 2-3 turn territory, I'm fine with that. And I'll take him all day long at the 2-3 turn, meaning I have Jamar Chase at 1. I take, if I'm lucky enough to get a Bucky, or I take a Garrett Wilson or whatever, if I go Chase Brown and then even Kyron, Chase Brown, reach on Kyron, reach on Chase Brown a little bit. I'm sorry. Jamar Chase, reach on Kyron, reach on Chase Brown. I like that. I'm fine with that. But what I don't want people to do is draft him up where Achane is, because there's almost no chance you need to do that. Would I say that if push came to shove, Chase Brown would be worth that 2.3, 2.4, 2.5? Sure. But then you're starting to draft him at his complete ceiling where he can still deliver that, but he can't get hurt or you're screwed, which is fine. And we draft players like that all the time. You just don't want to have your whole team full of those players. You want some upside players. But Chase Brown's like ceiling value or the max value I would draft him at would be probably like 2.5 right now in those kinds of waters. But please, no one do that. Look at your ADP. And if his suggested rank is around 3.4, try and get that, try and hit that as much as you can. Then you've got ceiling for days. If you start saying to yourself, okay, well, but Smitty said he would take him at 14 or 15 if it ever came to that. I don't have a pick that can get Chase Brown. Can I just take him? And that's the problem. People start playing that game. You walk out of your draft hating your team. You walk out of your draft looking like someone raptured your third round pick and took it from you, and you have no third rounder. You can't play the reaching game when you're taking players that don't belong, especially the earlier you are in the draft. So right now, I would just say this. This is how I would say it. Chase Brown, to me, anywhere in the third round, that means 3.1 to 3.12 is fine by me. You want to reach for him at the turn. The 3.1, 2.12 to 3.1, the 2-3 turn. That's where his ceiling point should be for reaching. This is where you probably won't see him very often anymore at 3.12 or 4.1. That is what I would say for Chase Brown. 3.1 anywhere, just like I'd take Bucky at 2.1 or 2.12. Just because his ADP lives in maybe mid to late second round doesn't mean I hesitate taking Bucky at 2.1. I'll take Bucky at 2.1. I could give two shits what people think. Same thing with Chase Brown. Anywhere in the third round. Bucky anywhere in round 2. Achane anywhere in round 2. Kyron anywhere. Honestly, Kyron anywhere in round 2 and 3. But I don't even like to say that because Kyron's ADP is nowhere near 2.1. So people need to really use their head when they are at that 12-13 turn and they start reaching for players like Kyron, who you really don't need to go get at 2.1. You don't. Someday he might climb there, but don't do it.
All right, cool. Yeah, I just figured because I know there's a lot of people in here tonight who, I don't usually draft until August, but I know a lot of people are starting to redraft already. And,
yep.
Figured he might sneak into the back of the second.
He probably will.
Here and there.
Yeah, there's some players that have discrepancies between best ball and non-best ball. I would say the players that come to mind the most would be Kyren, because I know in my buddy league, like my mullet example, like the guy that has the mullet haircut and doesn't cut it, and it goes out of style. He's still wearing it. Everyone's making fun of him. The style comes back. He's still wearing it. People are like, bro, love the cut. And he's like, he has no idea he wore it through the entire storm. and I believe Kyren Williams, when I go into my buddy league and he gets taken at the 2.1, 2.2, like the first round, second round turn at 12, 13, 14 overall, there's not even like a thought process of, oh, he lives outside of the 13 or 14 overall pick in other worlds. They have no clue. Magazine drafting. They that's the frustrating part. Sometimes you go on ESPN and you're like, I love these ESPN ADPs, but then you find that one that makes it not worth it. You're like, come on, why is he ranked so high? The whole world's sleeping on him, but ESPN, not because ESPN knows better, not because the ADP or mock draft, clientele know better. It's just a gross misrepresentation of what the reality is, and it happens to be the sleeper that I want. Like, why is, you know what I mean? Like, I could see Rashi Rice not appropriately falling because of the suspension on, like, ESPN, and he goes at, like, 3.2. And you're like, son of a B. I believe Kyren is one of those victims that in non-best ball will go much higher than he will. I think Chase Brown is one of those guys. I think Mahomes is going to go handfuls, if not sometimes 2 rounds higher in non-best ball, because people won't be as, they don't have so much hatred toward him. I think another player that could go extremely high, I think a guy like Tyreek Hill will, thank goodness, go higher in non-best ball than he will in best ball.
I see a few people in the chat saying 31 isn't old. That's old for a wide receiver. Like, people can do it, but it's old. Like, people have to understand.
Who told you that? Your dad? My dad said 31 isn't old. Like, it's in dog year. He's a wide receiver. It's 31 is 87 years old in football years.
It's a whole. Someone's saying you think Tyreek is old, but Kelsey is great at 36.
Yeah,
Kelsey's old too, but it's 2 different positions.
Bro, it's not Quid. You don't even know what you're talking about. It's like saying, but my brother, who doesn't play football, he's not old. He's 35 and he runs marathons. Bro, Kelsey's a receiver or a tight end. What are you talking about? But anyway, let me get these 2 super chats out of the way. You're the man, Smitty. The megaphone kills me. I get the number 1 pick. I'm targeting Chase, Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Burrow, Rashee Rice to the moon. Attaboy. And make sure, Carl, you're getting Rice at the newfound value. Do not take Rice in the 25, 26 overall territory. You got to let him fall. I don't necessarily love Higgins in non-best ball, by the way. At picks 9 through 12, because his cost is too high. At picks 9 through 12 of the first round, is it crazy to just draft a guy that has second round value, ADP grade, as a first when you take out the do not draft guys? Kind of similar to what we're just saying. Like, you can't rise somebody up that goes in heavily in round 3 to 2.1. I don't think I think a guy like Achane, or you could say Bucky, but I'm even scared to say that because I don't want an overreaction from our community on Bucky. I would just say Genty and Achane at the running back position should be able to serve you well at the 12 pick across the board. I don't know that there's going to be too many scenarios where you don't get Genty or Achane even in non-best ball at that 12 pick. So I think you'll be okay. Guys like Kyren, I don't think you're serving yourself well by taking them at that turn. But if you had Genty and Kyren and you look at it that way, it's not the end of the world at all. I like it. I just don't know that I'm going to make Genty and another reach the combo there. But then again, it's like, I guess I catch myself because if, let's say it was Bucky and Kyron and you did reach from 2, I mean, I still love these 2 players so much. I don't know how I would feel because you're still going to get good receivers, but I think it's almost like you're starting in round 2 though. And it's not that they can't earn this, but I think a lot of people can get this naturally with the first rounder to boot. So it's like you're going to have, even though you love your 2 players, you're seeing somebody pull off a BTJ and Bucky and Kyron, and maybe Kyron doesn't fall in your particular league, but you might get, just the right player in place of Kyron, and you still got BT and Bucky, and you didn't screw yourself. I would say Achane and Genty are that line of round 1 running backs that you're going to want to like cut it off at. And I think that the rest of the world will grab Henry and CMC and grab those guys high enough that it'll push Genty or Achane down. Achane at 12 is fine. Genty at 12 is a steal. They're both steals. You get your round 2 and round 1 players. If you end up with Achane and Genty, that is fantastic. I'm fine with that. I'm not saying I don't like Bucky and Kyron near as much, but it's just I'm playing the game the best I can because Kyron does, even in non-best ball, sometimes live in 3. I don't know if you'll get him with this corresponding pick, obviously, because it'll be a late 3rd rounder. But maybe you can trade. I don't know. If you can trade up to get Kyron. If you got to trade up to the bottom of round 2 to get Kyron right, in that Genty round or the Achane round, whoever goes in round 2, I like that idea better. And some of you don't have trading leagues, but most of these questions that are non-best ball related, where these values are different, you can trade. And so it makes it easier. Thank you, BBQ. Appreciate you. But if ADPs change for these guys, doesn't mean I won't be okay with it. I just don't want to promote my ceiling values on some of these cases, make them known because we don't have to go there. I don't want to say my ceiling value for Cam Ward is right here when you can get him like 3-4 rounds later. I don't want to talk about, a player like Jaden Blue being a top, I do talk about him being a top 12 RB maybe per start at some point, or a top 12 to 15 RB per start. But I make it abundantly clear his ADP is at 150. Probably in non-best ball, it might be something along the lines of 135 to 140, which is fine. Not even a big difference, but don't go ruining it and grabbing him at running back 15. You are out of your mind at the moment. Go ahead, Travis. What else you got?
Did Voice of Reason call in?
No, he never did. Was Debo?
He said tonight he was calling. He said he had the number right in front of him.
Anti-Debo?
Yeah.
The lack of voice of reason. Let me just backtrack on Debo. Let me backtrack. I like him. One of the things that is the weirdest thing, the weirdest stance for people to take is when they trash somebody and then they call in and say, I like him. I just don't like this or whatever. It's like putting one foot in the door, 1 foot out. I like MHJ, but I just don't like Kyler. I don't trust Kyler. That way, when Kyler ends up doing well and feeds MHJ, they can say, well, I liked MHJ. It just Kyler needed to step up, and Kyler stepped up. So I'm actually not wrong about MHJ because I did say I liked him. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. What's up, Gump? Gump.
What's up, Smitty?
What's up, Gumpy?
How we doing?
We're doing good, Gump. Have you learned where that super chat button is yet? Have you figured out where that super chat button is? It's got that little dollar sign on it.
Listen to me now. Listen closely. So I'm sitting there on YouTube, right? And I looked, and it says Campbell and Goff, and they're doing a play and stuff. Well, it was the Packers game, right? And they had to get the first down and stuff like that. And Goff came in, and there was Campbell, right? Well, are you there?
Yeah, Gump, we're waiting for you.
Okay, and then as I was watching the whole thing, Ben Weasel's on the sideline, not even calling part of the play, right? And I said, well, look that must have been his whole job all year long, just sitting over there looking stupid.
Hey, Ben.
Those two are working.
Hey, Gump, I almost called you Ben. Hey, Gump, can I ask you a serious question? Just please answer this honestly. Do you really believe that Ben Johnson wasn't one of the better play callers and offensive architects in the National Football League? Answer that.
1,000%.
Why do you
believe? He was riding Dan Campbell's coattails.
Dan Campbell's not. Dan
I'm
Campbell
telling you,
decides what.
Everybody labels Campbell as meathead, a meatloaf, right?
He doesn't.
It's not the truth.
But
It's not reality.
Campbell, he literally tells him, "Let's go for it. What do you got?"
No,
come on, Gump. You know better than that. You know better than that.
Can you answer a real
serious
question?
Yeah, I will. I can answer a serious question. Go ahead.
The football season's almost upon us. Getting there, right?
It is.
And there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. One thing
there are
against another. One. You know what I'm saying? It's all that going on.
Huh? Speed it along, Gump. I'm being patient today.
Can you admit it that you're actually a Packer fan?
Can I ask you a question?
Trying to take the line.
Can I ask you a question? And I've got patience today. I got patience up the wazoo today.
I love it.
What in the hell would make you think I'm a Green Bay Packer fan? What in the hell? What have I said this entire offseason that would make you think I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, Gump? Give me one thing I've said. Give me one thing. Don't like Jordan Love. Tell you to avoid Josh Jacobs. Think Matthew Golden's the most overrated wide receiver we've had drafted in decades. Probably the worst round one wide receiver. They misused Jaden Reed. Like, what are you talking about? Where are you coming up with this garbage?
Or because you hate Jared Goff.
What does that have to do with anything? Not everything centers around your damn Detroit Lions. I don't even know what that means. I hate Jared Goff, so I'm a Green Bay fan.
Well,
my brain can't even compute where you're even deriving that from.
Have you ever gone to a Detroit Lions Packer game? Have you ever gone? If they don't like you, the Packer fans, they pout you with cheese curds. Did you know that?
Yes, Gump. What does this have to do with your very weird statement that I'm a Green Bay Packer fan because of Jared Goff? Jared Goff, I think about Jared Goff. You know how many times I think about Jared Goff a day? Zero.
Come on.
Zero.
Come on, he's the coolest cat on the block.
Gump, how many times do you think of Jared Goff per day, Gump?
The Detroit Lions and everything?
No, just Jared Goff specifically. 2, 3?
Well,
2 minute account.
I'm continually holding my breath. Like, wow. You know what I mean?
How many times per day do you think of Jared Goff?
Laura, do you like Jared Goff?
Gump, how many times per day do you think about Jared Goff? Answer the question.
Huh?
Finish him.
He can't follow simple instructions. He really can't. Half the time there's a follow-up to the question, and then he's asking me a question. BBQ with a $10 hauler. $10 haulers get
2 Mars.
Our shots, young man. BBQ says Ben Johnson is one of the top play callers. It's crazy how he who had to drop gadget plays to cover up Goff's weaknesses. When he turns around, the Bears will Gump give him his flowers. Probably not, BBQ. He probably won't. I don't think he'll turn the Bears around, but I think he definitely, if anybody could, it would be Ben Johnson. So we'll see. I just think Caleb Johnson is just garbage. So Caleb Johnson, I think he wasn't Caleb Johnson. I saw a stat yesterday. Caleb Johnson was QB 36, I believe, in accuracy throwing to a receiver when they were considered to be wide open. He wasn't even in the top 32. I just think that Ben Johnson's in for a world of damn it. Why did I go this route? And I do believe Caleb. Did I say Caleb Johnson? Caleb Williams. I do believe Caleb Williams is going to be on another team, like in 4 years from now. You know, similar to how you could say Fields didn't do what he needed to do. We can't blame him, right? But he moved on. Like, this is going to be a similar thing. You know, Baker moving around. Now, could Caleb get revived somewhere? Could Liam Cohen maybe pull him in? Maybe Cohen's the guy for the job. I think Ben's the guy for the job. Maybe if Ben had already been an established coach. You know, I think this being something he's got to do while he gets used to head coaching, which is probably I imagine a less than 50% chance of success rate anyway, of transferring from OC mindset to head coach. It's a hard thing to do. And then, I to be honest with you, I think Ben Johnson not drafting an RB was a problem. I don't know why. That's like his strong suit. And to go into the season, and I like Roshan a little bit, probably out of the trio. Manungai, we'll see. Swift, you know, can he stay healthy? Who knows? I mean, he did last year, so I like Swift. But keep in mind that Ben Johnson was a part of the regime that got rid of Swift. He was in Detroit. They traded Swift away. And now that's the starting quarterback. That's got to be awkward. But anyway, then one more super chat. No, that was it. I think I've covered them all. Go ahead, Travis. And then phone lines are open if anybody wants to dial in.
Speaking of Caleb Johnson, what do you think Warren's going to play in? Do you think he still has the lead back role, or do you think Caleb's going to take that over?
Jalen Warren, Caleb.
Or do you think it's just up in the air because of Arthur Smith and we can't trust him?
I don't know. I think it's a combination of things that would concern me. I believe we're sitting in a world where we've got two problems for Caleb Johnson, the running back. By the way, the chat summary generated by AI says quality may vary. Viewers in the chat are discussing Jared Goff's performance and the Lions offense. Some viewers are optimistic while others... Damn it went away. Hold on, I want to see what it says. Okay, while others predict regression or even losses for the team, and also mention Patriots. I don't know. That's funny. Yeah, Caleb is one of those players like... Does anybody realize that the Judkins, you guys will pay, Judkins is the guy, you know, I used to get that a lot. People would always say, you know, what about Judkins? Whenever I'd do any sort of Harvey or Hendy or Hampton or Genty video, it'd be like, I don't understand. Where's Judkins? I don't get it. Where's Judkins at? I get that with Caleb now. And I get it more because now Judkins is out of play. These are both players that have tremendous upside, but their situations are very, very cloudy, especially Judkins now. But Caleb Johnson is in a world where his competition is fighting for his life, and he is one of the best practicing running backs out there. The guy practices harder than anybody. And he catches Jalen Warren, we're talking about. He catches football as well. That's going to maybe limit Caleb's ability to grab a hold of the entire job, and at least initially early. If he gets injured, then the job will be wide open and Caleb could thrive. There's that upside, and you can draft for that upside. But you've got to account for the fact that he'll be in a committee first off, and he plays for a vanilla mindset. It's going to be a vanilla offense, very, very mundane. And then on top of that, the head of that offense, Arthur Smith, is very running back by committee esque. And so you've got so many red flags there. So when people say, what about Caleb? What about Caleb John? What about him? You know, is he a good pick? Yeah, I've taken him in best ball. I continue to. And I hate that I got to cut him down to size because people are putting him on a pedestal. There's a lot of upside, but you got to draft accordingly to encompass the risk and the upside together. You can't draft him as if he's already taken over the starting job. Just like you couldn't do that with Judkins. And now look at all the Judkins owners scrambling all over the place. Be careful out there. It's a wild world.
Someone in the chat saying they're on hold. Is it true?
Oh, I'm sorry. Damn it. Who is that?
Josh.
Go ahead, 310. You're live. I'm sorry about that.
Yo, Smitty, what I gotta do to get you to save my number, bro, so you know who I am?
This is Josh from where?
Brother?
Josh from where?
From Cali. From Cali, brother. How you doing,
Josh from Cali? Okay, I'll try it. Right, I'll write it down right here. I wish it would let me do it while I'm on the phone. 79. Okay, hold on. Okay, got it. What can I do for you? Chase Brown?
Hey, brother, so I'm in the league.
Hey, Josh, real quickly, Josh.
Yeah.
Are you the one that won the contest or no?
I wish, bro.
Okay.
No, I wish.
The Chase Brown. Who is it that won the Chase Brown contest last year? They filmed themselves with their wife at the airport.
The guy that went to the airport.
Yeah, the airport guy. All right, go ahead, Josh. What can I do for you?
Hey, dude, so I got Chase Brown in the eighth in a keeper, ESPN league. 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, one quarterback, 1 tight end. Normal, right?
Yeah.
8th round keeper, so it's solid. How should I draft that team? I'm drafting at the 12th spot, okay? I'm torn, bro. I don't like Genty over Kyron. I like Kyron a lot over Genty. And he won't make it back to me at
we already talked about this. So, I mean, this is a keeper league, though. So Kyron is appropriate at 12 or 13 if you've already got 8 or 9 guys ripped off the board. So that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. But if Genty's there, you're talking into your shoulder or something, bro. You keep vanishing on us. I don't know if you keep the phone. I don't know yeah, there you go. I cannot condone going Kyron over Genty though, personally. But I'm not going to make you take a lap in a keeper league where you've got 7, 8, 9 players ripped off the board already. And then you're taking Kyron. That makes sense. I could take him at 12 easily in that format, in a one-man keeper for sure.
Yeah.
But I just Genty, bro, especially, and there's no keeper value if you take him that high. Is that correct?
Well, Genty's he's not a keeper eligible. He's a rookie. Well,
I don't. That's what I'm asking.
No, I just can't see the. No, I get it. I just can't see Genty outscoring Kyron at all. In any way this year.
What makes you think Genty?
Kyron's the man, bro. Because he's 7 feet tall, bro. Because Kyron's 7 feet tall.
What about?
You told us, dude.
Let me guess. The Raiders were bad last year.
I'm a huge Raiders fan. That's my team, bro. There's no
what
way
the hell's going on here?
Against Kyron.
Why can't you see Genty doing Kyron like things or better though?
Because Kyron scored 25 touchdowns 2 seasons in a row, and I just can't see a rookie doing that. No rookie's done that.
Bro, you could have the Saquon Barkley rookie year out of this guy. Like, I don't know what you mean he can't do that. This guy he scored 29 touchdowns in college last year. He had 7 yards per carry. He never had under 100 yards. Every single game he rushed for over 100 yards. First in the nation, 5.25 yards after contact, second in the nation in yards per carry, first in the nation in forced missed tackles. We're talking about like the best stats and categories that a running back could have. This is the best prospect who's ever come out of college, maybe since Barry Sanders, and some could argue very strongly that he's a better prospect, not better than Barry, but a better prospect than Barry Sanders. This is the best prospect.
Will he have a better season than Kyron?
What makes you think he can't? What makes you think they both can't have a near equal season? But what makes you think Genty can't rush for 15 touchdowns as a rookie? Because other rookies don't.
I like McVay's offense.
I do too, but this is not other rookies. Well, no other rookies don't. No, fine, doesn't matter. No other rookies run for 29 touchdowns coming into the NFL, bro. 2,600 yards rushing and 29 touchdowns. And he's one of the best pass-catching backs in the draft class, if not maybe top 10 pass-catching running back in the league immediately. He's going to catch more balls than Kyron, and I love Kyron. Kyron, you find nobody higher on Kyron than me. Maybe you, I guess, right now. But, bro, Genty could grab 500 yards receiving at any moment. This is a receiving monster. And a lazy person will tell you he didn't catch a lot of balls in college because they don't do their diligence. They don't do their homework. This is a guy that could have 2,000 yards as a rookie, 20 total touchdowns as a rookie, 40 or 50 receptions as a rookie. And even in his worst scenario, to me, it's 15 total scores, 1,400 yards, and a real shot at the rushing title, and maybe 200 or 300 receiving yards.
Man, I don't understand the ADP of Kyron. That I don't understand.
Hey, you and I are on the same page there. You and I are on the same page there, but you're trying to force a round peg into a square hole on this one, and you aren't even listening to me on Genty. You're just tunnel vision, bro. Every time I mention Genty, though, you keep mentioning Kyron. You just keep doing it.
I can't take Genty. I can't take Genty over Kyron. I can't do it.
Bro, you can't focus on just talking Genty. You keep mentioning Kyron's name. You're not listening. You're tunnel vision focused.
I've got the mullet haircut, bro. I've got the mullet haircut. I can't do it, dude.
Okay.
I can't do it.
As Joe Pesci would say, okay. I'm not going to argue with you over it. You're not listening. But I love Kyron. So we're both in the same boat there, but there's nothing I can do. You're done on this topic. There's no sense.
Would you draft this way? Like I have Chase Brown in the 8th. Would you take two receivers at 12, 13? I'm going back to back. Snake.
I'm taking the best player available. I'm not setting myself up.
It's a build though.
Of attack. You got to tell me who's on the board, bro. Let me merge this call. Hold on. I'm always best player available. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you.
So
I'm not gonna sit here
around two receivers, or
I just told you. You're not listening to much I'm saying. I'm not cementing in a plan of attack. Doesn't matter. You got Chase Brown.
No,
I'm taking the best player available. But it's like Josh, right? Josh from Cali. I'm gonna write it in I'm gonna put the phone line. You're not hearing me tonight. It's like talking to my mom. You're set on whatever conversation you think we're going to have, and then you keep having it. I'm going to draft the best player available. Does not matter that you got Chase Brown. You don't just go wide receiver. If you and I were playing chess, are you gonna castle on the 7th move no matter what? Are you gonna move your pawn to the middle of the board no matter what on the 8th move? Like, bro, you can't decide things like this. You got to tell me who's available. You got to go with the flow. And maybe you're taking Genty, Kyron, and Chase Brown. And you're going to get Rashi Rice, Deebo Samuel. You'll be fine. Maybe that's the route to take. But it's going to be best player available, my boy.
Yeah. You like Genty way up there, huh? For sure.
I gotta go, bro.
All right.
Let's try again tomorrow.
All right, brother.
Try again tomorrow.
Later, brother.
Yeah, it's like talking to a brick wall. It's like talking to a brick mother freaking wall tonight. You really like Genty. It's like that's what he came away with, huh? You really like Genty, huh? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Travis, you got any commentary on that before I go over to the next two callers? Good Lord.
Yeah, I guess while you're at it, someone in the chat is wondering if you realize that Boise State had a bad schedule. Like, they don't play anyone good.
Really?
Know that?
Man. Did I just
end
the live stream now? I feel embarrassed.
Breaking news. Genty played no one in college.
Genty didn't play any. Man. I'm sorry, guys. I should have looked into this. I do this for a living. It's my fault. I should have looked into Genty's schedule. I should have looked into everything. I should have known better. This one's on me. Booth, you just hung up. Call back if you got another one. Big T, you're live.
Hey, Smitty. Hey, Travis. Hey, Jonathan. Your name's Jonathan, right?
What?
What's up, man? Is this guy's name is Jonathan? Is that right?
The guy that wasn't listening to me, Josh.
Talking about Genty, Genty and Kyron.
But he ain't gonna listen to you, so don't even try. He barely listens to me.
Oh man. Well, hey, I mean, I want to give him an example, at least like a wide receiver example from last season. If you're taking Kyron over Genty, that's like taking A.J. Brown over Malik Neighbors. Like last season, the ADP, that's how it was. But this season, you have the chance to take Genty. Genty is going to be the Neighbors of this class as a running back. Kyron's going to be good. He's going to be like an A.J. Brown of this fantasy year. But you have the chance to get a top 5 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Fantasy-wise.
What he's got to do.
The top 10 guy.
What he's got to do is understand and acknowledge that Kyron's going like in this territory. Genty is going in this territory. And with the keepers involved, they both in similar exact fashion at the same time move up. So Genty, instead of being 9 or 8 overall, now is 5 overall. Instead of being at 3.1, Kyron's now at 2.09 or whatever. But the bottom line is, in this particular league, if you're not taking advantage of the fact that you could just make a trade and get draft capital to then go down and get Kyron as well. So maybe you go wide receiver and a running back if it fits, best player available. You got Chase Brown, penciled in later. And then you make some trades to go get Kyron, who is at this value that you can't stand, is so silly, dumb, low, that you come away with a team like this. This is the perfect example to draft pick trade. If you want Kyron that badly, go get him. But there's nothing wrong with going Genty and Kyron and having Chase Brown. There's nothing wrong with that. You could get MHJ, you could get Debo, you could get Garrett Wilson. Who knows what wide receivers you're going to get. So my advice is you want Kyron so bad, grab Genty, grab Kyron. He's got back-to-back picks there at 12. He has 12, I think he said, right? And then you got Chase Brown as your third RB, and you'll probably get an MHJ. You'll probably get a Debo Samuel. You'll probably get an Igbuka. You'll get a whole bunch of players. You could go that route. That's fantastic. Or even better would be Garrett Wilson. Or even better would be like a Rice. And let's say, it's hard to say if MHJ would fall that far in this league or not, but you're talking about Rice on top of maybe a JSN falls, and then you've got Debo later. You could easily come away with a team like this going Genty, Kyron, wide receiver. Like you're talking about a keeper league, but some of these guys were written in and are still a little bit deeper in the draft. Not all of them were top like 12 overall players, but you start to get to a point where it levels out probably around round 3 or 4. All right, go ahead, bro. What can I do for you?
What's going on, Smitty? It's Chrissy from LA.
Oh, hold on. I was going to ask Big T to finish real quick, Chrissy. 1 second. Big T, you got anything else?
No. Oh, no, I mean, that was pretty much it. I mean, I was just trying to make the example of, like, he has the chance to pick the Neighbors of this class over the A.J. Brown. Like, you could take Genty over Kyron. So
yeah.
That's just his opportunity.
Or it's like, stock number A, if we're using, like, a stock scenario, is worth, $200 a share. And then stock number, B is worth $100 per share. Taking this stock here because you just think it's got more upside isn't necessarily the right move, especially if you believe in this stock too, which he doesn't, I guess, but whatever. Another player, you can grab this player, but the smart move is to find a way to go get resources, draft pick trading, to get this value because you're promising you feel like it's a guarantee that this is going to go up to this value, this perceived value, even if you didn't love this value. You believe $100, this $100 stock will turn into a $200 stock. Well, then make the commitment to trade draft picks to go get this pick. So that's what you got to do with Kyron. But there's no reason not to go Genty, Kyron, and Chase Brown if you want to go that route. Not to mention, I'm not even against going. I mean, if he went Kyron, I still love Kyron. Like, you guys know I love Kyron. But what is the other player he's getting? Like, that's the thing I got to know. And you want to call back with that scenario, I'll kick it around with you. All right, Big T, we'll appreciate you. Call back if you got another one.
Sure, bro.
All
Thanks.
All right, Chrissy, you're live.
What's going on, Smitty?
What's up?
So I just wanted to kind of touch base. You kind of took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say the same thing for that other caller. Is why not just take Genty and trade for Kyron plus a piece? Like, I feel like that would be, the smartest scenario, especially with that like draft capital, it just doesn't make sense to take Kyren so early, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely ways to go about it.
The other point I was going to make too is, why would you take Kyren, even if you believe in him so much with his injury history, why would you want to take him over a fresh back with one of the best prospects ever coming out of the NFL and from college? Why wouldn't you just take a chance on that?
I mean, I'm not necessarily going to agree fully with that statement because I love Kyren. I don't think Kyren is an injury risk, but I think that Genty's got a ceiling value that's higher because he might get more receptions. He's just going to be a freaking beast, and he's got the pedigree to be a number 1 or number 2 overall running back. Kyren has definitely got the pedigree to be 4 to 7 for RBs, and could he live in one year to 1 year basis inside like the top 2 1 year or something like that? Sure, but this is a guy that I think will consistently, especially given his slightly lesser receiving upside, he would live in this territory, which is fantastic. It's league winning, and that's why we talk Kyren up constantly. But Genty is in a world where he could be, even as a rookie, RB 1 or 2 overall, even as a rookie. So it's not so much a concern of Kyren at all. It's just Genty's pedigree and his potential ceiling. But I think Kyren's shaking away the table, to be honest, bro. He didn't miss any time last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think, you have 2 seasons to go off of this, right? And he played 12 games the year prior, had 12 rushing touchdowns, and then he goes ahead and has the monster year this year with 14. What else you got, Chrissy?
That was pretty much it. I just kind of want to touch base and talk on that trade. But yeah, so I think if he really believes in him, and I know this show and everyone does love Kyren, he should just take Genty and try to trade him to get like Kyren plus a piece. I think that's
I'm fine with that, but I also think just not worrying about trading players later. Go get the pick. If you can draft pick trade. If you can't draft pick trade, then yeah, you might have to take somebody, try and trade Kyren later. But we'll see. And you could even trade. I imagine there's trading because with keeper picks and everything, I imagine there is trading. But you could even, if you wanted, and I'm not saying I don't love Chase Brown, but you could trade Chase Brown, with the keeper value for Kyren and something, and forego the long-term value of Chase Brown as a keeper if you wanted. If you wanted to explore stacking this year and making this year the best year you've ever had, you can go ahead and take that loan out on Chase Brown's keeper value and potentially turn that into a Kyren plus something. And maybe that plus something ends up being your next Chase Brown replacement. You get a player that is going to, in hindsight, be, oh my God, I got this player now. Chase Brown was that guy. He was a guy that shouldn't have been, in a lot of people's eyes, as valuable as he is today for your keeper option. So if you get Kyren and plus something and you turn that into the next elite player, then now all of a sudden you're just piling on the wins. All right. Appreciate you, bro. Call back if you got another one.
Thank you. All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Smitty.
All right. 941 caller, you're live. What can I do for you?
Hey, Smitty, it's Zach again. Got a quick question for you. When your boy was up there talking about Kyren a little bit ago, he was asking you if you would take 2 wide receivers in the 12 to 13 slot, and you said, well, it depends on who's available. So with that question, if we're talking Drake London and A.J. Brown in the 12 and the 13, I believe those are the 2 next best players. Are you taking them?
I'm not taking A.J. Brown over Genty? Hell no. Would I take London?
No. Genty gone. No.
Okay.
No, Genty gone. There's but the next 2 best players, I believe, in this draft would have been Drake London and A.J. Brown.
I think London's
Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, and Breece Hall.
Yeah, I think JT and Jacobs, no thanks. London and Kyren, I'd be fine with that if Genty was gone. I'd be fine with this start here. This would be fantastic to go with Chase Brown. London, Kyren, Chase Brown. But for me,
in this league, Kyron's kept in the 16th. That boy's gone way deep. He's kept.
Okay, in your league, okay. Well, okay. So give me the list of players and I'll rank them for your league. London.
So I could where you want me to start at 12? Where 12 lies?
Sure.
So 12 is I grabbed on this one Drake London, A.J. Brown, and then Tyreek Hill came after, Josh Jacobs, T. Higgins, Jonathan Taylor, Terry McLaurin was going to be kept, Josh Allen, George Kittle, Breece Hall, DJ Moore, Amarian Hampton, Malik Neighbors is being kept. That's the second round.
Okay. And can you keep Hampton? If you were to take Hampton in London, do you have keeper value with Hampton?
Yes, I can keep to go into. He would have to be kept into the first next year. Yes.
Well, what if you only could only take one player though? Then it's London. London's the answer. But if you could take two players,
No. Get me right here. So London would be in the first. I would have back to back. So 12 into 13. So first round 12, first pick in the third, which would be the 13th.
right? Okay, so London is your first, and now this is another pick. So I'm going to say, I would if there's any keeper value at all, I'm fine with Hampton as this next up player. I like Hall, I like Allen, but I want Hampton over Jacobs. I want Hampton over JT. I want Hampton over Higgins. I want Hampton over AJ Brown. But that's me. If you like AJ Brown, I'm okay with that. But if you like JT, I'm okay with that. But if there's keeper value at all, I want Hampton. Hampton could easily be a first round player. But you're telling me that London or Hampton has to be a first round player if you keep them? You can't keep both of them. You can only keep one.
The issue with this is I kind of went over it, and I know you're a busy man, so like I doubt that you even got to see it. But there's 36 players off the board in this league. There's 3 keepers per person in this league. So you've got a lot of players.
So how is this a first rounder then? If you're taking them not even as you've got London, is this more of like you're keeping 3 guys that consist of your top 3 round picks? Is that what it is?
Yeah, no, my 3 keepers, I got Bo Nix, Bucky Irving, and Juwan Jennings are my 3 keepers in this league.
You're not really painting a clear picture. Let me just say this. I like London, and if there's keeper value, I like Hampton next. But yeah, so you got London already. Great. So now Hampton for me.
So the keeper value would be if I got Hampton in the second, then next year, the following year, I'd be able to keep him in the first. That would be the keeper value.
Okay. So I guess in that sense, if you think you could get Hampton in the next round, I'd push it, but I doubt you do. I think Hampton's going to outscore JT. I think Hampton's going to outscore Jacobs. I think Hampton and AJB could be close if AJB stays healthy. Josh Allen would be, amazing as your third player at this point. Breece Hall's fantastic, but
I would have to take him second. Josh Allen's going to go second or even in the first round, honestly, in this league.
Okay. Tough call. If you could only keep Hampton in round 1, it does make it tougher. If you could keep him like in round 2,
next year it would be Hampton in round 1.
But I'm not huge on AJB this year. I don't think he's a bust necessarily, but he's an injury waiting to happen for me. Tyreek Hill, no thank you. Breece Hall, I love. I could definitely argue Breece Hall, Hampton. I could argue JT after that and AJB after that. I certainly could, but I'm going to say Hampton is my favorite pick here personally. And who knows how good he is. He could be well worth the first round pick. We'll have to just see. All right, bro.
So inevitably you like Hampton over AJ Brown for the second pick, 13 overall.
I do. In a keeper format where there's keeper value, I do. I know that it's going to be hard for some people to envision a first round value at a Hampton, but I just don't. AJB is not a player I'm making it a habit to draft. JT's not a player I'm making a habit of drafting. Jacobs, I'm not making a habit of drafting him. And the other players, I love Breece Hall, Allen, and Hampton. It is between those 3 people for me. I think Hall could easily be this good, but I don't. I think Hampton's going to be a monster. All right, bro.
So you think Josh Allen though, out of all those?
I like if there's no shot at Hampton falls your next pick. Are you literally waiting like down this round and the next one?
No,
right?
Hampton. Yeah, Hampton's going to be in the third round, which starts on that very other.
Let's start another time. I don't think we're on the same page. Like every time I'm explaining it. Well, call back if you got another one. Call back. I got to move on. I feel like that was like pulling teeth on this one. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I wasn't hearing him right, but every time I'd ask him a question, I feel like we would just not be on the same page. End of the day, I love Josh Allen. I love Breece Hall. I love Hampton here. If I'm ranking them and there's keeper value, honestly, I mean, I'm assuming this is not a 2 QB league. There's nothing wrong with Josh Allen here. This is your 3rd drafted player. So honestly, London, who was his other running back, Travis, or other pick? It was Bucky. He's got Bucky, London. Go Josh Allen. Josh Allen can smash at that. And Knicks? Oh yeah, Knicks already. If it's a 1 QB, then you don't need Josh Allen. But if it's a 2 QB, Josh Allen shouldn't even be available. So that would be a ridiculous situation. This can't be a 2 QB. It can't. If it is, then he needs to take a lap for even asking the question. But if you already have Bo Nix, you don't need him. I'd take Hampton. And I saw Parker, I see your question. It's crazy talk. Why is it crazy talk? Why is it crazy talk to not believe in Josh Jacobs in a keeper format? Why is it crazy talk to assume that JT, who's got a offensive line in shambles, and Daniel Jones is his quarterback, about to do what he did to Barkley over in New York? How is that crazy to like Hampton? Hampton is a monster, bro. But it's 1 QB, Zach. Yeah, then you can't go Josh Allen unless you're to trade Bo Nix. If you could trade Bo Nix and get value back somewhere, but is someone going to give you the value of Bo Nix to the tune of, what we believe him to be? I don't know. All right, go ahead, Travis. What else you got?
I mean to ask you this. In Dynasty, AR5, are you dropping them or are you just going to hold them and see what happens?
Depends on the pickup. Who do I get?
Okay, yeah. Nothing yet. But the season hasn't started.
Let me get Gumpy on here. Gumpy's calling back one more time. Gump, go ahead. Gump, you're live. Let's see how long this lasts. Go ahead, Gump.
I just have a question for you. How excited are you to watch Hendon Hooker at the Hall of Fame game coming up, first game of the season? Preseason.
Finish him. Call terminated.
Scared Scott, you're live.
Smitty.
What's up?
I just finished up a live draft.
Yay!
Another one fills and goes tomorrow morning, and it's my third. The one tomorrow morning is my third consecutive redraft with the
Yay,
number
Scott.
one pick.
Cool story. What could I do for you, Scott?
It's that flip side of the when 12-team first pick has to be Chicks. Can't be Bijan because the receivers just aren't that good at the other end. It doesn't look it. Don't like it. I think it's a much better because you can go Chase. What I've been doing in the last 2 drafts, I've taken Chase, and then Chase Brown and Kyron Williams are sitting there, and I take them both. Bucky leaves before it gets there.
What's the question, Scott? What's the question?
Well, I've done 2 straight drafts. I hate to do a third straight draft where I go Chase, Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, and Kyron Williams to start the draft. Any suggestions on that 2-3 turn?
Just take Bijan and let the chips fall where they may.
God, it's such a.
You don't know how it's gonna go. I mean, what if you don't do it and you see an amazing combo of wide receivers later? Again, in worst case scenarios, you can easily right now get a Rice and JSN and Debo sometimes in those scenarios, or at least a Rice and DK and Debo.
I just got Rice at the 4-5 turn in the draft tonight.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know. To me, I think that
I dropped the note. Who's going to be the one to choose Rice in his 8-game suspension? And nobody picked him up. And he said, "How about you?" I said, "Okay," and I took him at 4-5. Yeah.
Travis, call back in. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hang up on you as well.
So you got any what receivers at that 2-3 turn do you think is there?
Garrett Wilson is a great one, and he's usually always there.
Yeah, he's there.
MHJ's there a lot. Bijan, Garrett Wilson, and Kyron. Bijan, you might have, even if Bucky falls, you don't pass on Bucky because you already got Bijan. You just do it live. You'll find Garrett Wilson there. Garrett Wilson will probably be there. What?
Bucky's not getting there.
Well, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. But I would take some Bijan shares. You're going to be regretting yourself, your decision if you don't.
All right. Goodbye.
All right, Travis. Thank you. All right. I got to go, Scared Scott. Don't be scared. You got this. You got this, bro. Who has a faster start to 2025, Hendy or Harvey? Probably, man, I don't know. It's a tough question, man. I think we need more time. I'd be guessing. I'd be just blindly guessing. We got so much time. August will tell us that. If I had to guess, I would say maybe Hendy right now. I mean, could be close, but we don't know. We don't know. All right, guys, I'll be back at 8 p.m. Eastern. Midnight Eastern. I'm live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's what this show is right here. I'm also on the Patreon 24/7, 365. We're all lingering and over there. Smash this link right here. Get on the Patreon. In fact, I'm going to open up my Patreon. It's my live chat group. And I'm just going to say, yo, any post 8 p.m. show topics. Boom. I'm waiting to chat with everybody right there. So hit me with it. And we'll be over there live. Don't forget, I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, like the show right here. I'm live whenever big news breaks, and I'm live at midnight Eastern, which is going to be tonight. So we'll go live tonight, midnight Eastern. See you all tonight at midnight. Thank you to my super chatters. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, BBQ. Carl, appreciate you. Aaron, BBQ. Russian collusion. Daniel. Collusion. Sam, BBQ. Ben, collusion. And then Matt, appreciate all your super chats. Thank you for the gifted memberships, you monsters, you. The gifted membership given out tonight were Andy gifting 20, Collusion gifting 20, BBQ gifting 20. Did I miss BBQ dropping 50? Are you out of your minds? Andy dropping 10. Andy, thank you for dropping 10. And BBQ, you still there? BBQ dropped 50 gifted memberships. That slipped past me. Who has the faster start? Oh, I already answered that one. BBQ, you still there? How did I miss that you dropped 50 gifted memberships? I can't believe I missed that. That's insane, bro. That is insane. BBQ, you are a man of the people. You are a legend. BBQ to the moon. Is BBQ still here? Drop an eggplant, a fire emoji, whatever the case may be that shows your celebration of the man that is BBQ.
Let him cook.
BBQ, appreciate you. Joel, no soup for you. You called too late, pal. The show's over. Andy, thank you for the gifted memberships. BBQ, thank you for the gifted memberships. Joel, call at midnight tonight Eastern. Is BBQ still here? Where's BBQ at? Sometimes he's still here. You just can't type. BBQ, thank you, pal. 50 gifted memberships. Wowza. For all you Kyron doubters out there.
He's Kyron, he's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball. He's
Hey, I'm Dom, and I drive fast cars, get hot chicks, and draft Ashton Genty double fist style with 2 cell phones at the same time. Why do I have 2 cell phones? One for looking up Ashton Genty stats all day, the other is for getting chicks.
See you guys at midnight Eastern. Thanks again, BBQ.